And whenever you have that perspective, there's not much anyone could say or do, because most of the time your decision is already made. Like, so again, like, I don't want to be lectured to. There's nothing that I or anyone else on this panel could be able to say or do. Your mind is already made up.
Made up. Yeah.
So that's my only critique of the article.
Yeah,
sometimes
absolutely.
we don't even have a chance to say anything, and then sometimes when they come to us, their mind is already made up. So I feel like I'm being lectured to, because nothing you can say or do is going to make me change my mind. So that's what we're dealing with. So
and guess what? You know what I experience. What the experience is too, Pastor John. Can I say something real quick? The experience too is that a lot of times you don't realize that people want you to say more, but they get offended when you understand that people already have their mind made up, and when you know that, like, a lot of times God will reveal that to you, right? And so, but I've experienced where you don't say nothing, people also get offended. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like sometimes it's a lot, and people don't even know. You know, I think they always attack the head leadership side, but they really don't even understand the abuses that some leaders even have to go through. You understand what I'm saying? Even in the process of maybe seeing a person that they know is not ready to go out there, and notice a possibility they could lose their soul, but it's nothing they could say. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that could have been said to this individual has already been said. And when people's heart change towards you, they don't hear you in the same way that they heard you before. When you were that inspiration, then you become the agitator. You understand what I'm saying? When you speak. So it's a lot to that, and it's a lot that even leaders have to go through. So I understand what you're saying about your critique in the article. Again, it was a great article,
With Jari.
Yeah. Okay. So I had one question from the article, actually. Do you guys believe that it was a part of the article, and I don't have it pulled up, but it said something to the degree of, like, once those people are gone, they would never, not some of them, they would never come back.
Never come back.
Correct. Correct.
Do you believe that all of those people that have gone for whatever reason would never come back?
I don't think.
You know what? I've experienced.
Because the article to me wasn't.
I thought that was a little. I'm like, because everybody, some of these people are in the done because it has become popular.
Right.
And you got somebody. You have activists now.
Right.
That are pulling people. You know.
Right.
Liberation. Like, you know. Right. So it depends on, you know, like, I mean, you've seen the group. I mean, it said, you know, like, it said millennials.
Right, yeah.
You know, it said leaders. Like, and actually, I was just, like, before my daughter Alex had left out for work, I was saying to her, and I was reading the article, and I was saying something to her, and I'm like, you got a name for this thing? And they called the Duns, so she was sitting around here, and she was playing, she was like, you know what? So she playing, she's like, yeah, man, I'm one of the Duns. But she wasn't like, she was like, and so I said to her, I was like, man, don't even joke. I said, don't even put that into the atmosphere. I said, but the truth is, you would fall right into that group. That would be one of the Duns.
Right.
Where we are, I don't go, you know, she didn't grow up I've been down at my church for like 20 years. And she didn't grow up in the same environment that I grew up. I mean, times have changed, period, though. But, like, she didn't grow up in the era, like, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted my church. My friends was at church. Like, we hung out at church. And so we tried to hurry up and finish eating on holidays so we could go to a musical at church. Like, so everything was like, you know, whatever. Like, everything we did. We went to late night, gospel skates.
Right.
So I grew up in a whole nother era than her.
Right.
Even in church right now, she doesn't have a lot of peers. It's if it wasn't for sometimes some of the friends, or we're 20 years apart. So, but people being able her sharing some of the people that are in my life too.
Yeah.
You know, just her just really just being like really a church baby and not one that really has a lot going on outside either. But she could easily be pulled. I'm like, that's not something. I'm like, you are really, and I'm just looking at her like, I'm glad I'm speaking. And I'm glad you still hear your leader.
Right.
And I'm glad that you still have a desire to hold on because we've lost some. And all it took was somebody else to come in and to speak something different. You know, to speak something that you wanted to hear. Or something, and I mean, and it's like we miss some of the stuff. I mean, some of the leaders sometimes we do have to see it because how are we letting people, like, especially with some of the millennials, the few we may have, something is sneaking in. Somebody is sneaking in, and they're getting in their ear just enough.
Yeah.
And it's just enough to pull them. And I just told her, I was like, hey, let's not even joke about that. I was like,
right. So I wanted to address somebody's comment, or really they have a question. It's Apostle Alfonso Dashfield, and he said, so what do you say to men like me? I know how to do church. What I didn't know is how to be a husband. So with that, I had to shut down, sit back, and getting better at being a man. So I guess Pastor Jarman and Pastor Clay, y'all gonna have to answer that question.
Yeah, I saw that comment, and I say that it's not. So he's critiquing Christianity based on the practitioners of Christianity, right? And I think if you go back to the scriptures, it's not either or, because Paul gives very clear writings. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Right, he gives an example.
One of the qualifications for an overseer or a bishop or a pastor, we can talk about those different, was that he had to be the husband of one wife and he had to be able to manage his own household. Paul says, if a person can't manage his own household, how then can he manage the church? So I don't think it's either or. Maybe the practitioners of the church that he was a part of separated the two, church and home. But I see that there is a joining together of the two based on what's in the scriptures, and that's my thing. Don't judge Christianity based on how you have seen it practiced by people down through the years, even your local church. Because sometimes that can be right or wrong. Judge it based on what the scriptures say. And so I don't think you need to step back from church to learn how to be a husband. I think if the church is fulfilling the role that it's supposed to have according to scripture, we will be constantly teaching men how to be husbands.
Yes.
And so that's my thing. I'm trying to get people to stop judging the religion or whatever you want to call it. If you don't want to use that word, whatever you want to call it, based on the practitioner. Because people will do right and wrong. You know, I have done wrong as a Christian. I have made mistakes pastoring the church. So I hope that people wouldn't judge Christianity
based on the practitioner.
Based on the mistakes that I
have
made.
Yeah, that's so good.
7 years, and I've made mistakes. Don't judge Christianity based on the mistakes that I made. Some have been intentional. Some have been unintentional. Go back to the book and see what the book says and extend grace to me as a leader as I have to extend grace to you as a follower.
Wow.
And the church works if you work it. You know, because there are many men who have the opposite testimony, meaning I came to church immature, and then God surrounded me with strong men of God who led the way. And you know, so I'm sorry that was your testimony, my brother. Amen. But I guarantee you, in your city, there is a men's group, a Christian fellowship, and you can connect to it. And and will mentor you, guide you. Because what I found, pastors and Minister Jahari, is that often people who critique the church have never really tried it.
That's so good. Yeah.
Sunday morning and shouting that, but if you ask them, did you go to Bible study? No. Were you a part in fellowship at church? Nah, they clowns. I ain't hanging out with them.
Right.
I get it. Right. So you've minimized your church experience to Sunday morning.
Correct.
Right. You didn't.
Absolutely correct.
Right.
So I think that oftentimes, I'm not saying the brother, I don't know him, but oftentimes men and women will say that you never really gave it a real try when you prayed. Then you read your word and all that kind of stuff. You followed your pastor. So normally when that happens, it's because you haven't really, in reality, pastors preach and lead people, a large body of them, who have no intention on following through.
Whoa.
And you'll pastor them 30, 40 years, and they have never intentionalized their faith. Right? The whole time you pulling and pushing for the small stuff. Can at least come to Bible study?
Yeah.
It's virtual. Yeah. Right? We pulling and pushing the whole time. 30, 40 years. Pastoring people who have never had an intention of following instructions.
Right.
And they will pack out concerts. They will pack out conferences. Why? Because that's the stuff that kind of, it's entertainment.
It
doesn't confront me. It doesn't challenge me.
Right.
I can go in that crowd.
I don't have to see it through.
Exactly, and hide. Now, if I could go back to the comment about those who left the faith, will they come back to the faith? Here's why I agree and I disagree with the author's comments. Here's why I agree and why I disagree. I agree because Paul said that there would be a great number that leave the faith. We don't ever see any writing that those who left the faith come back to the faith.
Yes, right.
But I also believe that some, not all, we don't know what that some is. Right. Because they won't understand that there is no other way to get to God the Father unless you go through Jesus Christ.
Right.
So there will be some who will come to the fullness of, okay, I left church, I left Christianity, for what? What am I going to do? Become a Muslim? I'm going to become a Buddhist? I'm going to become a Hindu? And they realize these religions or whatever it is I'm trying can't get me to God, to Father in heaven. And I think that writing comes in Hebrews. I think it's Hebrews. Forgive me for not knowing the chapter, but he was saying there were people who will realize that you can't get to God the Father unless you go through Jesus Christ. So I agree that some of the good those who leave the faith will never come back, but there is a small minority who will, based on what we see in Hebrews. But,
So the thing that tripped me out was that the group that the article was written about, or even we were talking, do they really see themselves as leaving the faith? Because because they don't believe. Yeah. They don't. Right now, they don't believe that. Right now,
correct.
They don't see it that
I left church to find God.
Correct.
Right. They don't. Right. They don't see it that way.
The dumbest statement I ever heard. I mean, to me, it's the.
But Pastor John already broke that down.
How do you be with Jesus but to leave the bride? You can't
right. Jesus is the door. Jesus is the door. If you come any other way, you a thief and a robber. Like Jesus is the door. Like you can't come no other way.
And we treat Christianity. We treat Christianity like it's a smorgasbord.
Yes.
We treat Christianity like it's a buffet.
Right.
I'll take a little bit of the gifts of the Spirit, but I'll leave the fruits of the Spirit behind.
Right.
I don't want that.
But I don't want the character. So it's with God, it's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing. Yes, you said that.
Say, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with
right.
all of your soul, with all of your mind.
Right.
With God, it's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing.
You can't say, "Oh, I'm leaving the church, but I'm going to stay with God." You can't do that.
Right.
You have to stay with both.
Right.
But we treat